Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I'm going to talk about momentum. You have heard me say it before. The key to achieving your goals is not motivation, it's momentum. Motivation is one of the hardest things to find. It shows up very rarely, like January 1st, maybe the month that a Monday is the first of a month, and like maybe one other day throughout the year. And motivation is one of the easiest things to lose. So if we just sit around waiting for motivation and hoping that that's what's going to propel us forward and help us achieve our goals, we're never going to achieve our goals because motivation is so hard to find. Momentum, on the other hand, is so much easier to find and so much harder to lose than motivation. Momentum is where it's at when it comes to making progress and not giving up on your goals. So how do we get momentum? Where does it come from? It comes from taking action. Action equals momentum, which equals motivation, not the other way around. So in this video, I'm going to share 4 tips to getting started with action today to help you create the momentum that you need to achieve your goals. It doesn't matter what your goals are. This video is not about a specific goal. You can apply this to any of your goals, but I'm gonna give you 4 tips to getting started with action today. Tip number 1, you're gonna be so surprised when you hear this. Are you ready? Start really small. When I say action breeds momentum, I don't mean big action. I don't mean massive leaps, running marathons, changing everything about your day-to-day life. I mean really small steps. That's all you need. You need one tiny small step, small action. That will light the fire of your momentum. And that will lead to more action or different action, maybe bigger action, but all you need is one small step to get started. If you have a goal to read more, instead of setting some massive goal, like I'm gonna read 100 books this year, or I'm gonna read 30 minutes a day, even if you can find 30 minutes in a day to read, that is still a big action. 30 minutes in one day is a lot of action. I would encourage you to cut that even smaller. If you have a goal to read more today, read 1 page. Tomorrow, read another page. And read 1 page a day until you've built that momentum. And then maybe you start reading 2 pages a day. Maybe 3 pages a day. And then if all you do for the rest of the year is read 3 pages a day, you will have finished a lot of books by the end of the year. For me, that 1 page a day was key to getting momentum on my morning routine. I started reading a daily reader. I started with the Daily Stoic, which I love the Daily Stoic, and it allowed me to have a momentum starter every single day. I would wake up and I would open the page to that date, whatever the date. I loved that it had the day at the top, and I would read that page, and that was the momentum, the action I needed to get me started with the rest of my morning routine. For a while, that's all I did. I did literally that 1 step as part of my morning routine, and then over time, I added more steps to it. But that 1 page a day was the action that sparked my momentum. Tip number 2 is to start with something that you really love. We are never going to accomplish our goals doing things that we hate doing. Might there be some action steps that are part of our goals that we don't love the most? Absolutely. But if all you ever do, or all you ever plan to do to achieve your goals, because if you hate it, you're probably not doing it regularly. So if all you plan to do are steps that you hate, things that you dread, things you're not excited about, you're never going to start, and therefore never going to create the momentum you need to keep going. So even if your goal has some steps that you're not as excited about, some things that you don't really love, start with the things that you do love. Find action steps related to that goal that light you up, things that make you excited. And then take that action because you love it and you're excited about it, and let that action lead you into momentum that's going to inspire you to do those other steps that you're not as excited about. Whenever I feel kind of in a slump with working out, I love my Peloton, I do, but there are some weeks that I just don't like, I don't want to get on it. I don't want to do a Peloton workout, bike strength. Otherwise, I just am not excited about it. What do I love in terms of movement is dance. I love dance. And so if I am feeling like I'm in a little bit of a slump and I need to kickstart that workout momentum again, I will go back to what I love, which is dance. And I will sign up for a dance workout class. My favorite instructor is Justine. I'll leave her link down below if you are looking for some virtual dance fitness classes. But that's where I'll go back to, is one of her classes. And I will use that action of something that I love as the momentum to get back into working out. Tip number 3 is to pick a reward. I am not above bribery. If you are part of the Patreon community, you have heard me talk about this before. I love a good bribe. I love a good reward. If I do this, then I get this. What is something that you've wanted to get yourself? I especially love when the bribe slash reward relates to whatever it is the goal is. So most recently, when I took a trip down to Texas to do some wedding planning stuff, I told myself, if you work out 3 times while you're down there, that's it. You just have to find 3 days to do a workout. And when I made the agreement with myself to do 30 minutes, so I would close my Apple Watch rings. Then you can get a new pair of shoes while you're down there, because I love buying, by the way, fun random tip, I love buying sneakers, like gym shoes, at Nordstrom Rack. They have nice brands and they are ridiculously on sale because it's usually like the last season's colors. I don't care what the colors are. I just want a nice brand of gym shoe to support my feet. And I knew that there was a Nordstrom Rack near where my dad lived. And so I said, if you can work out 3 times, then you can go to Nordstrom Rack and get a new pair of shoes. And 3 times doesn't even seem like all that much. And all I probably needed to do, truthfully, was 1 time. Because once I did it 1 time, it was easier to do it other times. That's the magic of momentum. That one workout gave me the motivation and the inspiration to do more workouts. And then the bribe also helped. But the bribe definitely got me started with that first one, knowing that, well, if I didn't start today, then there's no way I'm gonna fit 3 in before I leave. So if I want those sneakers that I told myself, because I had shoes that worked just fine, like I had sneakers, but I really wanted a new pair. And I wanted a new pair and then like to throw away my old pair and like leave them at my parents' house. So if you're struggling to get started and to kickstart that momentum, bribe yourself. If I do this, then I'm gonna go get myself Starbucks. If I do this, then I'm gonna order takeout instead of cooking dinner tonight. Whatever you need to jumpstart that momentum, that will then lead you into further action. And then tip number 4 is to find accountability. And I know that this is easier said than done. And one of my biggest tips is to go take the quiz from Gretchen Rubin. She has a concept, she actually has a book, but you can go take the quiz and read about it a little bit online, but it's called the 4 tendencies. And it shows that we are each motivated by either inner expectations, outer expectations, both of them, or none of them. And whichever category you fall into can really help you figure out how to best hold yourself accountable to achieving your goals. The one at the top is an upholder, and that means you meet inner and outer expectations. You probably look at this one and be like, they don't need any extra accountability. And that is true. That is where I fall. And a lot of the times I can either hold myself accountable, or if I have somebody else holding me accountable, it's extra accountability, and that's not necessarily something that I struggle with. But if you're one of the other 3 tendencies, knowing how you hold yourself accountable can be really beneficial when it comes to getting started and taking action on your goals. I know a lot of our community falls into the obliger category, and that means that you meet outer expectations and not inner expectations. So what this means is that you need outside accountability. A friend, a family member, a loved one, somebody that's supporting you through that goal. And what we're talking about here today in this video is momentum. So I'm not even suggesting that you need ongoing accountability. You need accountability for that first step. You need accountability to get yourself started. And then once you get started, you have the momentum to keep going. So how can you find that outer accountability for that initial step? Is it signing up for a class with a friend so that you show up with them? Is it paying for something so that you don't feel like you're wasting money by signing up for something? Is it hiring a coach to help you get through that initial hump of working on something? Is it asking a loved one, a roommate, or a spouse, hey, I'm gonna do this. I need you to make sure that you ask me, did I do this afterwards? And if I say no, ask me why, and really hold me accountable to doing that thing and getting started on it. Again, the hardest part with a lot of goals is that first step and getting started and creating that momentum. So find some external accountability just for that first step, and then keep going from there. If you go to the opposite side of the chart, this is the questioner. And if you're a questioner, you meet inner expectations, but not outer expectations. So you actually don't like when other people are expecting you. And what you struggle with is research and falling down the rabbit hole of needing all the information. And that can be really tough when it comes to goals, because you feel like you need to wait for the right step to get started. And you'll do all the research and dig and be like, I have to have the perfect plan in order to even get started. And the struggle here is that you will never take action because you don't think it's the right step. And so what I want you to do as a questioner is set a timer and say, okay, I get 10 minutes to research. And then once I found the best step that I can find, then I will take action. And then you just have to take action on that step, knowing that it's the best step that you can come up with in that time frame. 10 minutes might not be the right amount for you. It's gonna depend on the goal and you as a person, but the questioners have to let go of knowing that the right step is the first one. the best step, the best first step is the one that you'll do. And once you get started and once you take that first step, you can let momentum then lead you into discovering maybe what is the next best step. I never want to say that there's a right step because there's just not. There's no one right way to achieve any goal. There are so many ways that you can go about it. So trying to let go of that need for the perfect right step and just take action is going to be key for questioners. And then the bottom of the chart are the rebels. And this is definitely the most difficult because rebels don't meet inner or outer expectations. They just want to do what they want when they want it. The biggest tip I have for rebels with getting started is to randomize it. So make a list of the possible steps of action that you can take. Make a list of 6 possible steps that you could take. Small, tiny action steps. Make a list of 6. Then I want you to literally roll the dice. If you have a board game in your house, you probably have a dice somewhere in your house. If not, you can go to like randomnumbergenerator.com and randomize it. And let fate essentially tell you which action step to take and then take it. And then just go from there. The problem with rebels is you don't want somebody else telling you what to do. You don't want to hold yourself accountable to that step. You just want to do what you want to do. And sometimes the best way to go about that is just to let it be random. Again, as with all of them, the key here is you just need to take the first step and then momentum will help you take all of the other steps. You just need to get started with one. If you feel like accountability is something you struggle with, especially if you're an obliger, one-on-one coaching might be the best option for you, and prices are going up in just a couple of weeks for my one-on-one coaching option. So I'm gonna leave all the information linked down below. Check it out. If you're interested, apply. We can chat more about the program and see if it's a good fit for you, what goal it is that you're struggling with. But I know for sure that the extra accountability that comes with one-on-one coaching has been a game changer for some of the people that I've worked with. So those are the 4 tips that I have for getting started today. Again, the best thing, if you only take away one thing from this whole video, however many minutes later, all you need to remember is it just takes one action step to lead to momentum, which will then lead to motivation. We can't go on the hunt for motivation. We won't find it. We just won't. What we have to hunt for is momentum, and the way that you find momentum is by taking action. So find a small step that you're excited about, find some extra accountability if you need it, and figure out a way to just start. Starting can be the hardest part, but once you start taking action, it gets easier. I promise. I promise. I know that you're sitting there saying, Laken, you say that. You say that I will get momentum, but I've done it. I worked out once and then it was really hard for me to work out again. I promise that it gets easier with time, and the more action that you take, the more momentum that you will get. So start with small steps and let them build up. I have always said this, but I would rather you do something for 5 minutes a day than an hour on the weekends. And while if you do the math, that's only 35 minutes total compared to an hour, it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Aren't I better off waiting till the weekend to only do it for an hour? No, that momentum that you build by doing it for 5 minutes a day is so much more valuable than that extra 25 minutes you would get by doing it for an hour on the weekends. So I want you to comment below, what is one small action step you're going to take today towards your goals? Comment below, let us hold you accountable to that one small action step. All it takes is one to kickstart that momentum. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. So in this video, I'm gonna give you four tips that I hate. Just facts. So most recently when I took a big usually by like the 4th video like this, I'm not so awkward, but somehow today I'm still awkward.